75 years. That's how much time you get if you're lucky. 75 years. 75 winters, 75 springtimes, 75 summers, and 75 autumns. When you look at it like that, it's not a lot of time, is it? Don't waste them. Get your head out of the rat race and forget about the superficial things that preoccupy your existence and get back to what's important now. Right now, this very second. And I'm not saying drop everything and let the world come to a grinding halt. I'm saying that you can become a seeker. You can be loving more. You can be taking some chances. You can be living more. You can be spending more time with your family. You can be getting in touch with the part of you that lives instead of fears, the part of you that loves instead of hates.
I think Africa will start to become to its fullest potential when y'all all go back home.
Right.
Like, and even y'all,
right.
What's interesting is that everything that y'all fighting for over here,
right.
you get on a silver platter over there. Like, it's like you guys want to suffer. Like, y'all motherfuckers just want to just be fucked up.
That hurt.
Because you don't have to be. It's like, believe me, they wouldn't want nothing better than to ship all y'all niggas back to Africa. But they not even knowing this for y'all best interest. Y'all would actually be better off.
Wow.
That was then, this is now, this for show, let them know. Here I go, reservoir, reservoir, here I go, reservoir, reservoir. That was them, this is me, this is king, you ain't know. Here I go, Crit Hill, sound like this, my you. Type of car we don't steal, backseat driver for real. Drop me off at the top, got that key with no lock. Play with a team that I own, ain't no taking my spot. Franchise, we take a lifetime to spin it. Hit that bank to the visit, raise a hand if you will. Drop the top on the rolls, had a whole little goals. Bible service for family, I'm proposing a toast. Made it out the hood like, yeah, who would've thought we would get out of the project?
You heard of the Uncle Clunk incident? In 1983, Showbiz Pizza introduced an animatronic named Uncle Clunk, who was considered advanced for the time in terms of movement and intelligence. As he was being added to more and more locations, complaints arose about his behavior. Apparently during shows, he was staring at audience members for prolonged periods of time. In some instances, when there was no show playing, he would look at nearby children and say random numbers. The mechanics were never able to figure out what was wrong. Eventually, Showbiz had enough, and all the Clunks were recalled, except for two. One that was forgotten in a storage closet in Maine, and one at my local Showbiz in the arcade. This place wasn't informed about the recall. That summer, my friends and I were in the arcade playing, when one of my friends began to hear a voice in the dark blabbering numbers. He stopped his game to approach the corner. We all followed him and found the Clunk bot behind the corner saying
7/16/83, 7/16/83, 7.
That sounds like a date. Today's date.
3/7.
We ran out and we told the manager. He told us to wait outside, he turned on his flashlight and he went in. After 30 seconds, he came back and he told us to find our parents and go home. We asked about our missing friend and he said, "Who?" That was the last time that we ever heard from him. The very next day, the location closed down for good. Not just that, but our friend's parents also moved that same day. We never found out what happened to our friend, or to the location, or to Uncle Clunk.
Why don't we see any land when we're looking down at the ocean from the space station?
Because you're over top of ocean.
Okay, well, don't you think they could be fooling us with this picture?
Okay, I give you this.
Wait, watch the picture. Watch the picture.
I know that they've airbrushed some stuff.
It's not airbrushed. This is us in our front yard and a solar panel, and we tricked you, showing you how easy. We have zero budget. They have $65 million a day. NASA says, you know, these are new planets. Okay. Would you believe? Why would you believe that?
Why wouldn't you?
Because they're frying pans. They're the bottom of frying pans. Again.
This is what actually happens when you die. According to the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the moment after you die, your consciousness will separate from your body and transition into a realm called the intermediate bardo. The first thing you'll see in this realm is an extremely bright light. It is said that this light is the true nature of mind and reality. After you see the light, you will be approached by several peaceful deities. The deities you see will be based on what you currently believe in. Some people see angels, Jesus, some see Muhammad, some see Buddha. However, in this realm, none of these beings are actually real. They're just projections of the mind that symbolize a positive direction to move towards. After you see the peaceful deities, you will encounter demonic ones. And just like the peaceful spirits, the demonic ones aren't real. You're simply forced to face these demons as a challenge to see if you can transcend them. After facing your demons, you'll be forced to watch what is called a life review. A life review is a replay of every single moment of your life. Every time you wronged, hurt, or betrayed someone else, or even yourself, you'll be forced to replay that memory. It is said that the life review is more vivid and more real than life itself. Your reaction to your life review, the demons, and the peaceful deities will determine where you end up next. If you were detached from the good and evil spirits and could accept your life review for what it was, you will transcend the light and enter a state of liberation or enlightenment. If, however, you could not accept your life review, were attached to the good spirits, and feared the evil ones, you will be forced to be reborn into a new life, whether it be human, animal, or alien. In fact, your current body, your parents, the environment that you grew up in, and your life path are all the result of how you reacted to your previous death. And so, you should be very careful what choices you make in this life, because
rapper A$AP Rocky pointed out in an interview that for some strange reason, every time he releases an album, somebody close to him dies. Check this out.
Every time I put out an album, for some strange reason, I always lose somebody close to me. My pops, lose James, lose my sister. Like, I always lose somebody close to me. So, you know, shit feel like, you know, some crazy, like, jinxes and
now, at face value, A$AP Rocky is given the impression that he is bewildered by this and he does not understand why this seems to happen. But if we look a little deeper, we discover that A$AP Rocky might very well know exactly why this takes place. It should be no secret that there are entertainers who make covenants with the dark side, with Satan, for fame and fortune and success. Oh yes, we hear it in their music, we see it in their music videos, and they just plain out and frankly confess it during interviews.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I made a bargain with it, you know, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my hand.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And on this earth, and then in the world we can't see.
That's how I got introduced to the music industry. I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music, but it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil. Well, needless to say, sold my soul.
They make a deal and a pact with the devil. They sell their soul. And one of the things that they have to give up in order to reach these levels of success, fame, and fortune is they have to sacrifice somebody close to them, or they have to sacrifice their own selves at some point in time. You guys remember what Kanye West finally admitted to when he was being asked these questions by paparazzi?
My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed. You understand? Yeah. Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You know, in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing.
I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Music came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
Oh yes, it's no mystery what's going on in the music industry and the deals that are made behind closed doors. These musicians make deals with the devil for fame and fortune, and in turn they are used as puppets to push a demonic, a perverted, and a wicked agenda and propaganda throughout the earth and into this generation. And in many cases, they also have to sacrifice somebody they really love, or they have to sacrifice their own selves.
About a week ago, I sold my soul. You know what I'm saying? And ever since I sold my soul, I haven't been happy ever since. You know what I'm saying? It's because, listen, I had to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I had to do it because I was trying to make it, like, you feel me? Like, and as when I was like selling my soul, like there was things that I could sacrifice about it and stuff like that. And I sacrificed myself. I could have sacrificed anybody. But when you sell your soul, you gotta sacrifice someone that you really love, and I sacrificed myself and stuff like that.
So when it comes to A$AP Rocky, always somehow having somebody die that he really loves every time he releases an album, there should be no question why this is taking place, as he depicted it for us himself in his videos. Check it out. Yeah, but meanwhile, he says for some strange reason that he doesn't understand, every time he releases an album, somebody he loves dies. Well, A$AP, that's because of the deal that you made with the dark side. And it may be your close loved ones now, but if you do not repent, you will also have to pay the ultimate price. And that is losing your soul for eternity to torment and hellfire forever.
Let's say worst thing comes to worst, I die a tragic death or some shit, and I'm not able to see out my dreams. I at least, if I'm gonna die or ever be a sacrifice, I want to make sure that my life made at least 5 million kids happy, or they found some sort of answers or resolve in my life.
He was f***ing around with the chopsticks, and we was just sitting there. We started talking about kids. He was like, "You're gonna be a great dad." So you're gonna be a great dad too someday, bro. He said, "No, I'm not." So what do you mean? And he just looked me dead in the eye, and he was like, "I'm not gonna make it past 21," and then just went right back to the chopsticks, like he hadn't said a thing.
There is nothing cool about this. And though entertainers are making it seem so enticing and so fun, there is nothing fun about the eternal torments of hell. Once you go, you never get out. There is no escape. There is no peace. There is no breaks, and there is no help. Do not fall for the deceptions of the enemy. I plead to this generation to turn to Jesus Christ and turn away from the enticements and the snares of Satan and all of these entertainers that he is using as puppets to lead you straight to hell. If you want to connect with me and do a live Q&A, if you want uncensored and uncut videos that I cannot play here on these social media platforms, if you want to get connected in our Bible studies that we're doing to grow your knowledge and your relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, head over to my Patreon page where you can view full and extended versions of all of my videos, and you can get connected with the Q&A and the Bible studies. I'll leave the link in the description. I'll also leave the link right here. Head over now, subscribe, and I will see you there. As always, God bless you and shalom.
Is the fastest swordsman in the world, also the Guinness World Record holder. He can turn ordinary pens into dangerous hidden weapons. Even the police, after watching his videos, urged him to register quickly. He is one of the last few inheritors of the art of Mo Ying, known as Mo Ying Xing Luo. In the heart without women, the sword naturally becomes divine. His sword can complete a lightning fast, slash in just fractions of a second. Before you blink, he has already sliced the apple in front of him in half. What's terrifying is his ability to swiftly, accurately, and flawlessly return the sword to its scabbard. Not only is his swordsmanship outstanding, but his agility is also remarkable. He moves with such ease, capable of executing a 270-degree drift while running at high speed. His vision is astonishing too. He can deflect swiftly shot arrows with a single stroke of his blade. Moreover, he is an all-around talent. I believe even if the national team were to challenge him in table tennis, they might not necessarily prevail.
This man lived underwater for 100 days and came out 10 years younger. This is Joseph Deturia, and he lived in a 100 square foot pod at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. The plan was to research the impacts a pressurized environment would have on the human body, and it did. His pod under the sea featured a kitchen with a microwave, a coffee pot, and a small refrigerator. And as he stated himself, God knows you can't have science without coffee. His tiny home also had a bathroom with a toilet and a shower, which can be useful sometimes. Just like all small studio apartments, he did have a small bed. But this one had a window to look out in a beautiful clear ocean. Once he returned to the surface, scientists began to study his body. Doctors discovered that his telomeres had grown by 20%. Telomeres are the DNA structures at the end of your chromosomes that typically shorten with age. But the Deturia's actually increased for living underwater so long, which means his aging process slowed down. The main reason for this was due to high pressure oxygen therapy. The air pressure inside his tiny pod is 1.6 times higher than normal atmospheric pressure. Studies have shown that if you stay for just 1 hour a day in an environment of 1.3 times that of normal atmospheric pressure for 5 days in a row, your stem cells would double in your body, and your telomeres would also be lengthened. This would cause your physiological age to actually appear younger while your actual age stays the same. So let me ask you, are you interested in staying in a pod like this for just one night?
Hey, little dude, send your mama and daddy out of the room. I gotta get you up on this. You know who I am. Snake, dealing in weed, coke, crack, your choice. Take one hit and you'll do anything to cop more. Steal from your mama, lie, cheat on your homeboys. But hey, that's the price you pay when you deal with dudes like me. Now, some folks will tell you that I'm dealing in poison. But hey, do I look like the kind of guy that would do that to a kid like you? Yes!
Tesla says that this is where he came to get the information.
Emerald Tablet. A cryptic hermetic text, it was highly regarded by Islamic and European alchemists as the foundation of their art.
But if you follow that information pathway, it leads you to this character called Thoth.
The Egyptian god Thoth appeared in Greco-Roman Egypt. Those texts known as the Hermetica are heterogeneous collection of works that in the modern day era are commonly subdivided into two groups: the technical Hermetica, comprising of astrological, medico-botanical, alchemical, and magical writings, and the religio-philosophical Hermetica, comprising of mystical philosophical writings. Holy shit.
Joseph?
No. So this dude was probably an alien.
Hey, there's a spaceship on Earth, and this is where it is.
Proof ancient civilizations were far more advanced than we thought. First, let's talk about the ancient Egyptians. This is the Orion's Belt, a star constellation. Is it a coincidence that it perfectly lines up with the pyramids of Giza? Now, what's crazy to me is that the speed of light and the altitude of the pyramids are the same number. It's also mind-blowing that the pyramids line up with the motherboard of a modern computer. It's also shocking that ancient cave drawings have depictions of light bulbs. Hard to up soon.
Have you heard of Project Blue Beam? It's a well-outlined conspiracy that suggests that the secret government is planning a New Age religion. Through technology and organizations like NASA, they will attempt to fake the second coming of Christ to create a one-world government. The theory suggests that the project would involve a virus outbreak, staged alien invasion, an artificial rapture, and a global-scale holographic projection of religious figures like Jesus, Buddha, and Muhammad. Sounds familiar, isn't it? COVID and shot-down UFO balloons all seem very suspicious. So, did it start, and what is coming next?
This card game be warning us of the future? In the 1990s, a man named Steve Jackson created a card game called Illuminati New World Order. Conspiracy theorists all around the world were quick to snap up the game due to its conspiracist title. However, people who started to play the game began to notice something very disturbing. The game was predicting many of the world's major historical disasters and events years before it actually happened, and it was eerily accurate. Eventually the game was discontinued. But who was really behind this card game? And
Have you seen Inside Job on Netflix? It's wild how many conspiracies are in this show. And honestly, I'm thinking about doing a whole series just on this show. I'm gonna play you guys a couple clips and let me know if you think these are just conspiracies or is there a little truth behind some of these.
You! The black ropes! You guys aren't gonna sacrifice me to a Cthulhu, right?
Oh, hell no. That guy's fucking nuts. I love you, Jay-Z.
Queen Bee! Lin-Manuel! Leonardo DiCaprio? Nicolas Cage? Bradley Cooper? Johnny Depp?
The reptiles, honey!
The Atlanteans.
They're a little wet. They're a little wild. It's the Atlanteans!
Catholic Church.
They wear sandals and create scandals. It's the Catholic Church.
Mamma mia, bucca de beppo.
Be dumb enough to get thrown in Bohemian Grove jail.
The righteous gotta stick together.
Alex Jones?
Let's feed them chemicals. It'll be disguised as their favorite foods, so they'll blame themselves for being sick. Addict them while they're young with colorful marketing. Show their favorite celebrities and athletes eating it on television. They'll think it's normal to need the pharmaceutical industry more help.
There's this theory that these scientists came up with after studying tribes in India and Africa, South America. The smaller tribes didn't have any government, didn't need any. They could sit down and talk out their problems, decide where to plant crops, to hunt. It was just a big family, really. But when the number of people got up around 500, if there wasn't any government, the strongest people would take advantage of the weakest. Every time, without fail. They would enslave, rape, steal, enrich their lives at the expense of other people's lives. Government's man's way of trying to control our behavior, but it can't be controlled. That's what we are. Sooner or later, the kind of people that would enrich themselves at your expense will use the government to do it. And mark my words, one day they'll create laws to control what we say, how we think. They'll outlaw our right to disagree if we let them.
What most people don't know about Egypt and Nubia. In the 1960s, the Egyptian government decided to build a dam on the Nile near Aswan. But there was one major problem. Historic sites near the river would be submerged. That's why a group of archaeologists led by Dr. Keith C. Seal traveled to Qustul in Nubia to save relics before the flood. What they discovered exceeded their wildest dreams. Tombs 10 times the size of Egypt's pharaohs, containing 10 times as much pottery, vessels, pallets, mace heads, and other valuable objects. These tombs would be considered royal in Egypt, and further investigation revealed that these kings reigned 600 years before Egypt's first pharaohs. The most important was hundreds of clearly pharaonic images, especially an incense burner depicting all traditional pharaonic symbols like a king wearing the white crown of Upper Egypt. This is the earliest depiction of that crown. It proves that the first pharaohs were Nubians who spread northward, as taught in the Egyptian Edfu texts. This information is hidden because it proves that black Africans created Egypt.
What's going on, TikTok? It's Colin Bellamy giving y'all another update. If y'all haven't been watching the news, the United States have now announced that TikTok is a national security threat. Why? I think we all know the answer to that. It's time for everybody to wake up and stop going against each other and recognize who the real enemy is. You got young kids on Instagram and Facebook having shootouts and beefing with rivalry gangs, but these apps aren't national security threats. You got parents soliciting their kids for likes, dressing babies up as if they were grown. There's a whole IG and Facebook page that has kids as young as the ages 3 and 4, boys and girls, learning how to use a stripper pole. But once again, that's not a national security threat. Wake up, we've been being lied to for too long. Lied to about our real historical facts. Lied to in school, we even get lied to on the news. Ask yourself why is healthcare free in other countries? The United States will literally let you die if you can't afford the surgery. Make us pay for insurance, and that still doesn't cover the full cost. Everybody who gets on here speaking out automatically becomes a target. I've been in jail for a month now. Even after I bonded out, I was still held here. I go to court March 14th at 2 p.m. for probation revocation. I've never been on probation in my life. So for them to bring me in front of a judge as if I violated probation is just wicked. I've never raped or killed anyone, yet I don't have a bond. Last year in October, a guy nearly killed my brother, had him on life support for over a month, and even he was granted a bond and bonded out. The same judge that granted him a bond took mine away. Why is that? Because waking up people is a national security threat, huh? Ryan Garcia just exposed him. Now they're saying he's crazy and not mentally stable to fight. Orlando Brown, Cat Williams, Trevor Moore, Rashad Jamal, Kanye West, B.O.B. I mean, the list goes on. Ryan Garcia just got on TikTok yesterday and stated that there is a lot more islands like Jeffrey Epstein's island. How ironic, Oprah and The Rock have their island in Hawaii, and we all know how much they both love pizza. The truth is more scary in 2024 than exposing all evil. I just hope y'all paying attention. They testing us to see how we react. AT&T was just down. Right after that, every social media site ran by the U.S. went down. Next, they'll do the power outage test. Something big is going down before the election, mark my words. But anyway, to all my fans and supporters, I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all. Keep praying and sharing my videos, and remember that anything helps.
You don't know you fell asleep until you wake up. Why do our ears click every time we swallow? Your right hand has never touched your right elbow. Because of our cells constantly dying, we're all a little dead inside. Who taught the first teacher? Who died in space and found out we couldn't go up there without a helmet on? Neil Armstrong was the first on the moon. Who set the camera down to record him? The voice in your head never runs out of breath. If your parachute fails, you have the rest of your life to fix it. Why are our teeth warm? If the voice in our head talking is us, then who's listening? You are not in traffic, you are traffic. Why does sleep go by so fast? Who knew the first person to die was actually dead? If we can't see oxygen, how do we know it comes from trees? People have never seen dinosaurs, but we found a way to figure out what they sound like. We ain't never been to the sun, but somehow we have a temperature of it. We can't explain what our tongue tastes like. After we are born, people say we're getting older, but really we're just dying. We will never know what it smells like underwater. There's no oxygen in space. How's the sun still burning? How does medicine know which body part is hurting? How would we describe what water tastes like? Why isn't the person who created houses talked about more? It is possible for us to bite straight through our tongue, but our body won't allow it. Faded AF backwards is still spelled faded AF. If we can't see oxygen, how do we know that's what we're breathing? If we really listened to our parents when they said don't talk to strangers, none of us would have friends right now. I don't know if it's just me, but I've never met a baby named Karen. It's like they're just born 30. B, D, P, and Q are the exact same letter, just turned in different directions. There are a lot of places in your house that you haven't even touched yet. It's impossible to tickle yourself. If you hold your nose, you can't hum. Choking on a piece of ice really comes down to how long you can hold your breath. Fast food is less weight, but more weight. Whales don't die of old age. They just get tired of swimming and give up. If you close both eyes, you see black. But if you close one eye, you don't see anything. How do you explain color to a blind person? History becomes harder to believe when you see how it's made. Someone invented the internet without the help of the internet. Your brain doesn't actually know how it works. Where's the heat coming from on the inside of our body? How do we know what the sun's made out of if we've never been there? If everyone was born blind, how would the world look? The letter W starts with a D. How do we know what's at the center of the earth if we've never been there? No one has ever been in an empty room. You can never win a staring contest with a stuffed animal. Is Louisiana the only state with their own hot sauce? You can't describe a color without saying the color. Do they call leaves leaves because they leave the tree? Someone really created talking without knowing how to talk. Who was the first person to use a faulty parachute? If the center of the earth is hot, why is it so cold deep in the ocean? Who came up with money? If you were born blind and deaf, what language would you think in? You won't know who went to your funeral. Every book you've read is just a remix of the dictionary. When you rub two fingers together, which finger are you feeling? We've all had human milk, but none of us can seem to remember what it tastes like. Hey bro, how do we grow a seedless fruit? At a movie theater, which armrest is yours? We literally have no physical evidence that today is Thursday. We just assume that today's Thursday. Does a straw have one hole or does it have two? Being healthy is basically just postponing your death. Rappers flex the money we pay them. Following somebody is silently saying that you like them. At one point in time, clothes were optional. Breathing is automatic until someone tells you you're breathing. School is more about passing instead of learning. 11:59 is the only time that matters in college. If you stop aging right now, it will probably take you a couple years to realize it. The purpose of a lock is to turn a door into a wall. Your car keys have traveled farther than your car has. Do you think someone has ever said, "Where are you?" in sign language? Why doesn't glue stick to the inside of the bottle? No matter how hard you pinch the skin on your elbow, it will never hurt.
Did y'all ever hear about the Rugrats conspiracy about all the kids being dead?
What?
So they were saying that all the Rugrats died and that they're all Angelica's imagination. So Chucky died in 1986 along with his mother. That's why Chaz is always a nervous wreck. Tommy was born in 1988, but he was stillborn. That's why Stu was always in his basement trying to make toys for a kid that he didn't have.
That is sad.
And the DeVilles had an abortion in 1990. Angelica couldn't figure out if it was a boy or a girl. That's why they're twins.
What the fuck?
That's
pretty
very. Is that why they never got in trouble and only Angelica got in trouble?
Could be.
Angelica, what the fuck?
Tommy did it. Who the fuck is Tommy?
It's Tommy.
You're the only one in here.
You're the only one with milk all over your face.
Where did the diaper come from? Where do you think this?
Did
Kirk Franklin is a well-known gospel artist. He said at the 2022 BET Awards that the lion and the lamb shall bow down to the goat in a freestyle rap. Watch this.
I was a dirty bitch, now me and God in sync, like Big and J and Nas, the greatest scapegoat. The lion and the lamb will bow down to the goat. The lion and the lamb will bow down to the goat.
Kirk Franklin said the lion and the lamb shall bow down to the goat. It's no way this can slip out of your mouth. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. What's in a person comes out of a person. And I noticed over the years, Kirk Franklin been compromising. Recently, he made a song with Lil Baby, a gangster rapper who is well known for promoting violence, drugs, and degrading women. And Kirk Franklin on the stage with him, performing. Now, I understand if he's preaching the gospel to him, because that's exactly what we're supposed to do. But there's nowhere in the Bible where God sent these leaders to go and sing and entertain the world with their little G gods. The Bible said, come out from among them and be ye separate, say ye the Lord. I'm gonna give you scriptures because I want you to understand what's going on. John chapter 1 and verse 29. The next day John seeth Jesus coming unto him and saith, behold the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world. Notice here, Jesus is the Lamb of God. Let's keep reading. Revelation chapter 5 and verse 5. And one of the elders saith unto me, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and loose the 7 seals thereof. I want you to notice in Revelation chapter 5 and verse 5, Jesus is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. So since we cleared who the lion and the lamb is, let me show you who the goat is. Take a look at this. This is the goat-headed image of Baphomet. This statue represents Lucifer and his followers. So how in the world you get this mixed up? Where Jesus is bowing to the goat? Y'all better pay attention. Watch and pray, because God is exposing. Don't let nobody deceive you. The word is already settled in heaven. The goat is Lucifer, and Lucifer is defeated by the blood of the Lamb. And I heard some people say it. He was calling Jesus the goat, the greatest of all time. That's earthly. That's worldly. You never attach goat to the name of Jesus, because the goat is a symbol of Lucifer. The world celebrates what he just said because they understand who the goat is and what the goat represents. You don't have to judge a person's heart. Their words going to reveal what's in their heart, because words is the fruit of the heart. It's the evidence of what's in a person's heart. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. All you have to do is pay attention to what they're saying. You'll know the tree by the fruit it bears. You think they're going to invite a real man of God at the BET Awards? Somebody who's going to preach repentance and call out their abominations. They're not going to invite him to come and speak. They're going to get a lukewarm Christian that compromise and act just like them to put on a show at their degrading event. The devil is a lie. At the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord of Lords and King of Kings.
If you experience this visceral belly fat, these skin tags, skin pigmentation, this buffalo hump,
or water retention, this video could save your life. The foods that you're currently eating are controlled by 10 food companies. These food companies like PepsiCo also own Quaker, Fritos, and Lay's. These food companies make their products with added sugars, added salts, and other ingredients to make them more addictive than nicotine. By making these foods addictive, what it causes your body to do to be in a constant cycle of making the hormone insulin, causing your cells to resist that insulin, which causes you to store more and more body fat and leaves you feeling tired and hungry. This causes you to eat more and more of this food, and this process continues and continues. The insulin resistance that you develop is linked to almost every single disease that we see in modern day, such as prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, and cancer. The reason they do this is because big food works.
You just made a statement. You said 1 cup of coffee cuts the kidneys, shuts the kidneys down for 24 hours.
Just to filter the poison out. And it can't do no other function.
Is coffee that poison?
It's that poison, yes, it's that poison. And I'll tell you something else. Not only that poison, but that addictive. Let's play a game. I'm your grandson, right? And I'm smoking reefers. And me and you as partners. I don't like my daddy, which is your son. But me and you is tight.
Yeah.
So you come to the table, and I say, Grandpa, I just read something about coffee. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put your coffee on the table and put my reefers on the table. We're going to sit here a week. You don't drink no coffee, I won't smoke no reefer. You know you love me. You know it won't work.
That won't work.
It won't work. I mean, it is one of the most...
Coffee is that bad.
The #1 addiction. Nicotine's #2. Whiskey's #3. And the drugs is way back behind that.
Yeah.
You know, but yet and still, we got everybody believing it's the hard drugs that is not.
Carrots are artificial. Because they are artificial, they are unable to deliver the nutrition that one is looking for because it is hybrid. You see, to understand nutrition, one has to use only those substances that are electrical. And the only substance on this planet that are electrical are the products that came with creation. Carrots didn't. Beets, rice, beans, wheatgrass, wheat, all these things are hybrid, plus much more. So what we are noticing is that there is gross misinformation when it relates to healing and nutrition. Because if in 1985 we didn't know that carrots was artificial, what else exists that we are unaware of? Well, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, there's much more.
Y'all check this out. Do not try this at home. This has been done by a trained professional. Check this out, y'all. Boy, that's got to be good for you, ain't it? Drink up, fellas.
You prayed and believed your whole life. Never done anything wrong. And here you are. You're the nicest person I know. I am the meanest. You have dementia. My life is perfect. Explain that to me.
Sometimes the devil allows people to live a life free of trouble because he doesn't want them turning to God. Their sin is like a jail cell, except it's all nice and comfy and there doesn't seem to be any need to leave. The door is wide open. Till one day, time runs out. The cell door slams shut. And suddenly, it's too late.
We're all on medication right now. Did you use
toothpaste with fluoride today. It blocks your pineal gland. And they put children on it. It's inside the deodorants that we use. It's all these things to create like a disconnect to God, to serve that. I don't think in the black and white lines that I've been programmed to think in. So when I talk, it's not a rant, it's a symphony of ideas. And when you collect them, you say, oh, these are all these things that connect. I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies.
The driver's license is one of the major instruments that is used politically to sustain slavery. When they gave you that driver's license, it was to incorporate you as a corporate person, was not an instrument for identification. It has a picture that represents you, and then it has some phonetic writing on the front that sounds like the name that you have, but that's not you. The picture can't represent you, and the name does not represent you. That name represents a private corporation, or what they call often a straw man too. You notice that grammatically it's incorrect. Why is it incorrect? You capitalize nouns. If you don't capitalize a noun, then it must not be a noun. But if all letters are capitalized, it's not a proper noun, is it? It's grammatically incorrect if it's directed at a person. Why do you think that was done? Do you think it's accidental? The fact that it expires proves what to you relative to identity? Does your identity expire? Well, why does your identity expire with the driver's license? Because it's not an identification. It's a proof of contract. It's a prima facie instrument used to regulate your economy. They listed you as Negroes, blacks, and colors as corporations and list you as foreigners, and that your working is a corporate activity for capital gains. By you being Smith, Jones, and Johnson, it automatically puts you as a ward of the state so they can impose upon you that license in the first place. You're actually paying a foreign European who you keep calling white and claiming...
I could be late to the party on this, but there's this show called Inside Job, and there's some weird, just pay attention.
Our story begins at the dawn of history. When humanity was about to overpopulate, we released the Black Plague.
And in quarantine, Sir Isaac Newton discovered gravity.
Okay, what is the plan behind burning rainforests?
Controlled fire to stop sentient trees from overthrowing humanity.
The Titanic?
Atlantean invasion fleet.
Huh, no kidding.
What appears on the surface to be chaos is actually a complex system serving a greater good. The Order of the Black Robes was born.
Operating from the shadows using secret knowledge, we and our descendants kept watch over all of human history.
Well, not to point out the obvious, but fire, plague, actual fucking locusts? If you're watching over us, why didn't you stop these things?
Stop them. We unleashed them.
So I peeped that, right? Then I started thinking 1720, 1820, 1920, 2020, every 100 years, depopulation.
Jesus is confronted by a man possessed by demons who identify themselves as Legion, for we are many. He casts out the demons, who then possess a nearby herd of swine. Immediately, the entire herd goes crazy and commits mass suicide by stampeding down a hillside and off a cliff into the sea. The seas have always belonged to him. It's his domain. Why did Jesus walk on water? To show his power over the devil. Moses parting the sea, same thing. Book of Revelation, all the dragons and dragons and the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Where do they come from? They rise from the sea.
The Bermuda Triangle?
The Devil's Triangle.
This is one of the busiest travel routes in the world. Airliners, freighters, commercial boats travel through here without incident every day.
We're having an incident right now. We've seen impossible shit out there, and you want to...
Isn't that
Yeah. You can see Dick Cheney, Al Gore, all 9 Supreme Court justices shapeshift into reptilians. Did you know that for thousands of years, creatures from the constellation Draco have been mating with humans to form a super race that includes 43 U.S. presidents, most members of Congress, and the entire British royal family? Do you believe that intelligent life exists on other planets?
First encounters between humans and extraterrestrials took place over 100,000 years ago in Atlantis, and in its sister civilization in the Pacific, Lemuria. Ancient civilizations on every continent have recorded evidence of these encounters. These visitors were highly advanced and did not appear in human form. Now, the Mayans called them Chanes, people of the serpents, and in Hebrew legend, the snake represented knowledge. Of course it did. It was not human. Not of this earth. History is replete with stories of the heroic destruction of serpents. Perseus and Medusa, St. George and the Dragon, St. Patrick and the Snakes of Ireland. But these are not merely legends, and the natural form of these invaders is not human. They are described in ancient accounts as serpents and dragons, and man's weapon against
we were told to go to school, get good grades, get a good education, right? I did that. At one point, I'm sitting at my job. I'm like, man, they lied to me. I'm like, this is supposed to be the American dream? Working 60, 70-hour work weeks. By the way, my wife is doing the same thing. And, you know, every Sunday night I'm seeing this look on her face because as the sun begins to set, her face begins to drop. Because what?
Monday's getting closer.
Monday's getting closer, man. I got to go to work Monday morning.
Okay, y'all. So I wanted to come on here this morning and teach a little bit. We got to stop watching the police brutality videos. I stopped watching them maybe 1 to 2 years ago. I stopped sharing them and all that shit. Had emotion emojis and sad face, mad face, you know. Well, let me break it down real quick. So there's universal laws that are stronger than these man-made laws here on planet Earth, right? Well, just to name a few, you got the law of attraction, the law of assumption, the law of vibration. There's about 14 of them. Well, the most common one that's used is the law of attraction. Just to give you an example, let's say you're in the car and you're on your way somewhere and you're like, oh, I got to get there. I don't want to be late. I don't want to be late. Oh my God, I'm behind the wheel. And you're just like, oh, I don't want to be late. Let's go. And you constantly have a car put in your place or in your face, or a train, or a traffic light. You catching every traffic light because you're putting out the signal that you don't want to be late. But the law of attraction is like, oh yeah, here you go. Late. So what I'm getting to with the police brutality videos is you have to stop watching them because they're emotionally triggering, right? And what happens with your emotions, well, what your emotions is energy in motion. So when you're sending out a signal of emotion that, I hate for this to happen. Why is this happening? I don't want this to happen. The law of attraction is giving that back. And the dark magic behind it is the media putting out the video for you to see it to trigger your emotions. So the fact that you keep watching it and you keep saying, oh, I hate this is happening. Why does this keep happening? Stop watching it. It keeps happening because people are putting our emotions out there and we keep helping this reoccur. There's really no point in watching it. Like, think about it. What's the point of getting on your phone or your TV and watching somebody get beat into the next realm? Like, what's the point? I personally don't see the point in watching it. The science behind it is there, though. And the media don't make it no better by putting out the video. Like, oh, let's give them something to see. You know, that way it can give you a visual and pull out that emotion, energy and motion. That way it can come back and reoccur again. That's why it keeps manifesting over and over again. And I don't know if I mentioned before, but there is a such thing called false flag events where the event is created by the government to trigger your emotions. Like, right, class is over. That's all I wanted to say. Stop watching the videos. Stop watching the movies. Stop watching shit that moves your energy in motion to the direction of something to happen again. That's all that's happening. It's dark magic. They know what they're doing. It don't serve you no purpose to watch it.